Have you ever wondered who the three wise men really were? And what could have possibly motivated them to travel for months across treacherous deserts just to visit a baby they had never even met? Well, today, we're going to unravel the incredible and inspiring story of the three wise men, also known as the Magi. Their journey is one of the most famous tales ever told, but the details behind it are even more fascinating than you might imagine. It's a story of faith, prophecy, and a mysterious star that changed the course of history. So, get ready because we're about to dive deep into who these men were, what they saw in the night sky, and why their quest continues to capture our hearts 2,000 years later. So, who exactly were these wise men? The Bible calls them Magi from the east. Now, the popular image we have is of three kings on camels, but the reality is a little different. The Magi weren't necessarily kings in the royal sense. They were more like a prestigious class of scholars, astronomers, and priests, likely from Persia or ancient Babylon. These were the most educated men of their time, deeply respected for their knowledge of the stars, ancient prophecies, and world events. They were advisors to rulers, interpreters of dreams, and keepers of sacred wisdom. Think of them as the top scientists and philosophers of the ancient world. They were wealthy, influential, and spent their lives searching for truth in the patterns of the cosmos and the words of old texts. Their world was one where science and spirituality were not separate, but deeply intertwined. Every celestial event had meaning, and they were the ones tasked with deciphering it. One fateful night, as they were studying the heavens, something extraordinary happened. A new star appeared in the sky. But this wasn't just any star. It was brilliant, commanding, and unlike anything they had ever documented. To the average person, it might have been a beautiful but fleeting cosmic event. But to the Magi, it was everything. Their deep knowledge of astronomy and ancient prophecies, possibly including Jewish scriptures they had studied, all pointed to one earth-shattering conclusion. This star was a sign, a divine signal they had been waiting for. It meant that a prophecy had come true. A great ruler, a king unlike any other, had just been born. This wasn't just another earthly monarch. This was a king whose birth was significant enough to be announced by the heavens themselves. The star was their cosmic invitation, a call to action they simply could not ignore. Their life's work had led them to this very moment. Filled with a sense of purpose and urgency, the wise men knew what they had to do. They had to find this newborn king and pay him homage. This wasn't a casual decision. It was the culmination of their studies and their faith. So, they prepared for what would be the journey of a lifetime. They packed provisions for a long and arduous trip, and they also selected three very specific, precious gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These weren't random treasures. Each gift was deeply symbolic and chosen with incredible care for the king they were seeking. With their supplies and precious cargo loaded onto their camels, they set out, leaving the comfort of their homes and venturing into the unknown. Their compass was not a map, but the mysterious star shining brightly in the western sky. They put their trust entirely in this celestial guide, embarking on a quest that would take them hundreds of miles from everything they knew. Their journey was anything but easy. Imagine traveling in the ancient world, with no paved roads, no hotels, no GPS. They had to cross vast, scorching deserts where the sun was relentless during the day and the nights were cold. They navigated treacherous mountain passes and crossed through unfamiliar lands with different cultures and potential dangers. This journey likely took weeks, if not several months. Day after day, they would travel, and night after night, they would look to the sky for their guide. But through all the hardships, one thing remained constant: the star. It never faded. It shone brightly, a beacon of hope leading them onward. Every step of the way, every time they felt weary or lost, they could look up and see it, reminding them of their sacred mission. The star wasn't just a point of light, it was their divine promise, guiding them relentlessly toward their destination. After their long and challenging trek, the star finally led them to the great city of Jerusalem, the capital of Judea. It was the logical place to start looking for a newborn king. Upon their arrival, their presence caused quite a stir. Imagine these exotic, wealthy scholars from the east showing up and asking, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." News of their quest quickly reached the current ruler, King Herod. Herod the Great was a notoriously paranoid and ruthless leader, pathologically afraid of any threat to his power. He summoned the wise men to his palace, pretending to be interested in their discovery. "Go and search carefully for the child," he told them. "As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." But Herod had no intention of worshiping anyone. He saw this newborn king as a rival, a threat to his throne that needed to be eliminated. The wise men left the palace, unaware they had just spoken with a dangerous and deceptive man. Leaving Herod's palace, the wise men once again looked to the sky, and the star they had followed from the east reappeared, continuing to guide them. This time, it led them just a few miles south of Jerusalem to a small, humble town called Bethlehem. The star finally came to rest, shining directly over the place where the child was. It wasn't a palace or a fortress, but a simple, ordinary house. There, they found him. Not surrounded by royal guards or servants, but with his mother Mary and her husband, Joseph. It was a scene of profound humility. And in that moment, the Magi understood. They had found the king they were searching for. Overwhelmed with awe and reverence, these learned and powerful men bowed down and worshipped the child. Then they opened their treasures and presented their carefully chosen gifts. First, gold, a gift fit for a king, acknowledging his royalty. Second, frankincense, a fragrant resin used in temple worship, a gift for a divine being. And third, myrrh, a precious oil often used for anointing and burial, symbolizing his sacrifice and humanity. That night, after fulfilling their mission, the wise men prepared to head back to Jerusalem to report to King Herod, just as he had asked. But they received a divine intervention. In a dream, God sent them a clear and urgent warning: do not go back to Herod. They now understood the king's true, sinister intentions. He didn't want to worship the child, he wanted to destroy him. Heeding the dream, the wise men made a crucial decision. They would disobey the king's command to protect the child. So, under the cover of darkness or early the next morning, they quietly departed. But instead of taking the main road back through Jerusalem, they chose a different route home, bypassing the city and Herod's watchful eyes entirely. They slipped away, their mission complete, having not only honored the newborn king but also having saved him from a terrible fate. Their journey had come full circle, ending not with a report to an earthly king, but with an act of faithful obedience to a heavenly one. So, what is the lasting message of the three wise men? Their story is so much more than a charming nativity scene. It's a powerful testament to faith, courage, and the pursuit of truth. These men were scholars who dedicated their lives to seeking knowledge, and when they found a sign pointing to something greater than themselves, they didn't hesitate. They left everything behind to follow a light in the darkness, trusting it would lead them to something profound. Their journey reminds us that sometimes the most important quests in our lives require us to step out of our comfort zones and follow our own star, whether that star is faith, hope, a sense of purpose, or an inner calling. It teaches us that true wisdom isn't just about what you know, it's about what you do with that knowledge. The Magi traveled hundreds of miles to honor a child in a manger, and in doing so, They became a timeless symbol of seeking and finding the divine in the most unexpected of places. Their story encourages us all to keep our eyes open, to look for the signs, and to have the courage to follow the light wherever it may lead. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the story of the three wise men. It's a tale that has been told for centuries, yet it never loses its power to inspire. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more incredible stories from history and faith, please give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next video. We love hearing from you, so please share your thoughts on the story of the Magi in the comments below. What part of their journey inspires you the most? Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.